When I look at what's ahead on the prophetic calendar for this generation, I'm talking about the next 2, 3, 4, 5 decades, I see the Bible describe the most dynamic hour in history. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say we're standing on the precipice of the most unprecedented hour that the earth has ever seen. And there's really 3 main components to that. The first is that the church is standing at the gates of the most dynamic revival or outpouring of the Spirit that she has ever experienced. Peter prophesies in Acts chapter 2 that God's going to pour out His Spirit in this generation and in a global way, in a global scale, and all flesh are going to prophesy. Sons and daughters are going to prophesy. Young men are going to see visions. Old men are going to dream dreams. And the church is going to enter into her most glorious hour in the days ahead. Now, compounded with that, or the outflow of that, is going to be the finishing of the task that we call the Great Commission. When the church enters into her glorious hour, when God pours out His Spirit, when she begins to operate under an anointing and a power dynamic that has never been seen before, it will propel the gospel into the nations. And Jesus said in Matthew 24 that this gospel, verse 14, this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed in the whole world as a witness to every ethnos. That's the Greek word there. It means tribe or family or nation. And then the end will come. And so as I look out ahead, I see the greatest outpouring of the Spirit coming to the church and the greatest harvest of souls in the nations coming in. I've heard some say the 1 billion soul harvest is ahead of us. I don't think that's an exaggeration. Again, when we look at the status of world evangelization, there's almost 40% of the earth's people groups that have yet to have a witness of the gospel. That means in the days ahead, almost half the earth is going to hear a witness of the gospel of the kingdom. Unprecedented. The last component of this great hour ahead of us is trouble. There is trouble coming to the earth. Jesus, just a few verses down from prophesying the fulfillment of the Great Commission, says that in that hour, there's going to be trouble like never seen before in history. So, Joseph's life is one of the clearest and straightest storylines about how God sets apart a man or a woman for prophetic assignments that are decades ahead.